Let's talk about a phrase you've probably seen everywhere, coming soon. You see it on lawn signs, you see it online, it seems harmless, right? But what if I told you it's actually the key to a massive, hidden machine that's changing how we buy and sell homes? Well, today, we're going to pull back that curtain.
And that gets us to the big question, the real mystery we're digging into. See, coming soon is always pitched as this great new tool for sellers, giving them more control, more options. But if that's the whole story, then why are the biggest companies in the business, we're talking Zillow, Redfin, Rocket, pushing it so hard?
To really get to the bottom of this, we can't just listen to the marketing slogans. We have to do what you always do in these situations. We have to follow the money. We're going to see what happens when a buyer clicks on one of these listings and figure out who really cashes in.
All right, so first things first, let's look at the official story. What are the supposed benefits of this whole coming soon thing anyway?
You know, the pitch they give you, it sounds great. They say it offers sellers more choice and flexibility. It lets them build some buzz, get more eyes on the property before it even officially lists. And the big one, it does all this without starting that dreaded days on market clock, which can make a house look like it's been sitting too long. On paper, it really does sound like a win-win for the homeowner.
Okay, so that's the story they're selling. But now, let's pop the hood and see what's actually going on underneath. This is where we find the real engine driving this whole operation.
All right, this slide right here, this is the whole game, so pay close attention. A buyer is scrolling online, they see a coming soon listing they love, and they click Contact Agent for more info. Now, you'd think that message goes straight to the agent who represents the seller, right? Nope, not even close. Instead, that click, that inquiry, gets rerouted into the portal's system. It's then packaged up and sold as a hot lead to a completely different agent, one who pays the portal a ton of money for that privilege. The sellers on agent, they get cut out of the loop entirely.
Let's just pause for a second and be absolutely clear about what just happened. The seller's home, their single most valuable asset, was just used as bait. Bait to generate the most valuable thing in real estate, a motivated buyer who is interested in a specific house right now. But the profit from that lead? It doesn't go to the seller. It doesn't even go to their agent. It goes straight into the pocket of the real estate portal.
And this is where things get, well, kind of weird. You start to see this huge disconnect between what these big companies say in public and what they're actually doing behind the scenes.
So take Zillow, for example. Not too long ago, they made a huge public deal about banning private off-market listings. Their whole argument was that it was all about consumer transparency, that these secret listings were bad for buyers. They really framed it like they were on some kind of noble crusade.
And then, what do? They turn right around and launch Zillow Preview, a platform that is built for the exact same kind of pre-market listings they just banned. It proves that the goal was never really about transparency. It was about controlling where the buyer makes that first contact. Because if you can control that first click, you control the lead.
And look, it isn't just Zillow. The situation with rocket companies is maybe even more fascinating. With one hand, they're partnering up with portals and encouraging agents to keep listings off the central database, the MLS. But, and this is the crazy part, their other business, Rocket Mortgage, completely depends on having clean, complete, reliable data from the MLS to value homes and underwrite their loans. They are literally poisoning the very well they need to drink from.
So you have to ask, why on earth would a company sabotage its own data source like that? Well, it's all about a business strategy called vertical integration. The endgame here is to control every single step of the real estate transaction. Think about it. If you can control the listing, then capture the buy lead, and then also provide the mortgage, well, you don't really need the MLS anymore. You've just created your own private, closed-off marketplace.
Okay, so with all that in mind, let's circle back to how this whole thing is pitched to the average homeowner in the first place. Let's break down that marketing message.
Listen for this phrase, because I promise you'll hear it everywhere, from everyone involved in this system. Seller choice. It's an absolutely brilliant piece of marketing. I mean, who's going to argue against giving people more choice?
But that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Is a choice really a meaningful choice if you don't have all the facts? If the person making the choice isn't being told about the trade-offs?
I mean, for instance, does the seller really know that their coming soon listing is basically a lead generation machine for other agents? Do they know it's the portal that's cashing in on those leads? And what about this? Do they know that the very best, most motivated buyer might see that sign, get annoyed they can't see the house yet, and just move on to another property before yours even hits the market? All right, so here's something really practical you can take away from all this. If you ever find yourself selling your home, ask your agent this one simple direct question. What happens when a buyer without an agent calls you directly about my house? Seriously, their answer will tell you everything you need to know. Will they try to represent both you and the buyer? That's called dual agency, and it's a huge conflict of interest. Or will they do the right thing and refer that buyer to someone else, so you have an agent who is 100% fighting for you? It's a critical difference.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. Let's look beyond just one sale. What could all of this mean for the entire housing market in the long run?
I mean, listen to what industry expert Steve Murray has to say about it. He sees this as the beginning of the end for the MLS as the one central marketplace. He's basically warning us that these private portals are trying to become the new gatekeepers.
And if that happens, if the market splinters into a bunch of different private platforms, you get this whole domino effect of problems. Suddenly, buyers can't see all the homes for sale in one place. Appraisers and lenders are working with incomplete data, which makes it way harder to figure out what a house is actually worth. And pretty soon, the whole market just loses the price transparency that makes it work for everyone.
And you know who else is paying very close attention to all this? The federal government. The Department of Justice has a long, documented history of going after exactly these kinds of anti-competitive behaviors in the real estate industry. This whole trend towards creating walled-off private marketplaces, it definitely fits a pattern they've stepped in on before.
And so that brings us right back to where we started, that coming soon sign on the lawn. It's sold to the homeowner as their choice, a choice made for their benefit. But after everything we've seen, you have to ask the real question. Who really made that choice, and who is the one that truly benefits from it?